Aaron Durham writes, I watch this show daily during my lunch break. You guys are awesome. I'm a huge fan of the DC animated universe, and I think that Bruce Timm has done a great job creating stories for the characters in those universes. Why do the studios not consult Bruce more often when creating motion pictures like Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, etc.? Thanks and keep up the great work.
So it's going to be my job again to say the really unpopular thing, so I'll do it. We got to keep in mind, and what people often forget is that animation and live action, not only are they two completely different mediums, but our expectations are different. What our brains are expecting to see when we watch them are completely different. I love Under the Red Hood, the Batman animation. I freaking love that animated movie. A lot. I think it's great. Jensen Ackles does the voice of Jason Todd, and it's just really, really cool. However, if you did a shot-by-shot live version of that reenactment, it would come across as hokey and cheesy and just silly and not work at all. Just from switching the mediums, because what we expect to see and what we need to see on the screen and what translates right in one medium for another are completely different. I know a lot of people really raved about that new Justice League one, Justice League War. I don't know if you saw that one. I didn't like it. I mean, a lot of people raved about it, but I'm trying to imagine those conversations between the heroes in Justice League War, if they actually happened in a live action thing and you had that kind of dialogue going on, it would be laughed out of the theater. But it works great, you know, in an animated setting. Just the same thing, if you take a live action movie and translate it just into animation, word by word, shot by shot, it also probably wouldn't work. You got guys who are really good and gifted and talented at bringing, you know, one medium to the screen. It doesn't necessarily mean they can't do the other one, but it doesn't necessarily mean they could be good at the other one either. So they're two different mediums, and therefore I don't really see it as, well, it just makes sense. Bring this one guy who makes terrific ice cream in to cook my steak. It doesn't just, I don't have that equation. Anyway, Schnepp, when you think about this, because we've had this discussion before,
Sure.
actually, how would you approach it? How would you answer that?
Well, Bruce Timm, I mean, he's a really talented guy. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
he's shepherded all of from the Batman the animated series all the way through animated series at Warner Brothers right now.
The Wonder Woman animated film is really good too. I don't know if he was involved with that one, but the Wonder Woman.
He's involved in
animated
all
one
of them
was
on a
good.
producer
Right.
level, but that was actually directed by this great animation director, this female. I can't remember her name right now, but she's an amazing animation director, and she's directed a couple of films. She might have even done War, I'm pretty sure. This other guy named Jason, he directed The Dark Knight Returns animated adaptation of Frank Miller's comic book, and I thought that was, I mean, you have to remember too, with a lot of these direct-to-video animated films, the budget is not high. It's sometimes not even over $1 million. A lot of it's shipped over to overseas. The budgets are very constricted, so the animation directors and the directors all have a really hard job to like pull off shots that we're used to seeing in these mega budget $100 million epics that we're used to now. So even though it's cartoons, it costs a lot less. Even then, you still have to, you know, everything's like dampened down a little bit because the money that they're going to get back from it is a lot less.
Yeah.
So that has a lot to do with a lot of the modern animation. But as far as Bruce Timm being involved, it's a totally different field. I mean, it's just because he's doing this one animated cartoon series, I agree with you. It doesn't mean he's going to jump into like say Zack Snyder's world of like the world that he already established with Man of Steel. In fact, their Supermans are night and day. So they would
totally
be
different,
probably
yeah.
fighting each other and one or the other kicking each other off the set. It wouldn't mesh at all. So,
Amy Rose?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it can work. It can.
Sure, absolutely
We're obviously
can.
speaking
Joss Whedon's
in,
an example of that.
Yeah, and there's a lot of examples that could translate, but it is a different medium. It is a different energy that they bring to it. And I mean, he is very respected in bringing those properties to life. And I mean, I think we basically just want hope in DC property. It's been just kind of all over the place with Batman vs. Superman. And I mean, there are elements that we're excited about, elements that scare us a little bit. And I mean, compared to Feige, I mean, we all pretty much trust in everything that he touches at this point. Guardians, that incredible trailer that just dropped, same thing. So I actually just watched the whole Dark Knight trilogy again over the weekend. Yeah. And I mean, you know, there's a lot of Nolanites. We would have liked that. I think we just like consistency. So if we see someone who did something really well with this property, but again, it doesn't always work that way. I mean, we were just talking about Star Trek directing that, you know, Roberto Orci, who is stepping over there. He might be really good as well on that, but we don't have that yet, but he knows the property. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Time will tell, but just because someone's really good over here doesn't necessarily mean it's a shoo-in, you know?
Alicia?
Yeah, I think DC does try to keep all their universes quite separate.
Yeah.
They have their animated series and they have the TV shows. Arrow is one thing, Gotham is something different, and then the movies are separate. And you had the Dark Knight trilogy, and now you've got the Batman, Superman. So I think it's smart to keep them all separate and make them all different. Although sometimes I wish that they would have an overarching consistency
Yeah.
because it's hard to grasp all these different stories. But yeah, I agree with you.
Hey everyone, if you liked this video, click that thumbs up button and make sure to subscribe to our AMC Movie News YouTube channel. It's free and helps you stay up to date with all the latest movie news, as well as our daily AMC movie talk show. Also, make sure that you follow us on Facebook and Twitter to stay up to date with all of our special promotions, contests, and prize giveaways.